And my dad, forget about it. Swing, 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 swing.
Welcome back. Today, we're diving into the world of Saturday Night Live with a countdown of the top 10 skits that perfectly captured the essence of Gen X culture.
I'm sick and tired of living in a van down by the river.
From grunge parodies to mallrat humor, these sketches defined a generation. Let's get started. Number 10, Coffee Talk with Linda Richmond. Mike Myers' portrayal of Linda Richmond, a New York talk show host with an outsized personality and endless love for Barbra Streisand, captured the quirky, ironic humor that Gen X adored.
Welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Linda Richmond.
With her thick accent and dramatic tangents like,
The Italian neo-realist movement in film was neither Italian nor neo nor particularly real. Discuss.
the sketch brilliantly lampooned niche intellectualism and cultural obsessions. A highlight for many was a guest appearance by Madonna, joining Linda's coffee clatch and hilariously matching Myers' exaggerated mannerisms. Their over-the-top banter about Streisand and trivial life details was a perfect mix of satire and charm. Coffee Talk often aired late into the Saturday night lineup, when Gen Xers were gathered with friends or family in living rooms across the country.
My sister Judy got me the tickets because she loves me and she knows how much Barbara means to me.
It came after the big musical acts during that cozy, anything-goes stretch of SNL. Watching Linda kvetch about life felt like eavesdropping on a particularly ridiculous yet endearing family conversation. And if you didn't love Barbra Streisand before, you certainly did after a few cups of coffee with Linda. Number 9, The Chris Farley Show. Awkward, self-deprecating, and painfully relatable, The Chris Farley Show was a sketch that turned cringe into comedy gold.
Dang it, what an idiot! I'm sorry.
Farley played an anxious talk show host who struggled through interviews with celebrities, nervously asking questions like,
Remember when you were with the Beatles? Sure. That was awesome.
Another classic moment came when Farley nervously grilled Jeff Daniels about his role in Something Wild. Do you remember when you were in that car chase? That was crazy, right? Farley's inability to maintain composure and his guests' bemused reactions turned the sketch into must-watch television. What made the show unforgettable wasn't its complexity, but its simplicity. Farley's exaggerated nervous energy captured a kind of humor that audiences couldn't resist.
You're doing great, Chris. Really? No, I'm not.
It became a perfect water cooler moment, with fans quoting, "Remember that?" to each other all week long. Even today, Farley's endearing awkwardness feels timeless. Number 8, Gap Girls mall culture was a hallmark of the Gen X experience, and Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, and David Spade captured it perfectly in Gap Girls.
We're just helping the Be Back brothers. We'll be back, and I'll be back.
Playing sarcastic, disaffected retail employees, the trio leaned into every 90s stereotype: big hair, mall gossip, and an endless stream of snark. The sketch thrives on its over-the-top banter as the Gap Girls roast customers, each other, and anyone who crosses their path. The standout moment? Chris Farley screaming, "Lay off me, I'm starving!" while devouring a muffin, leaving the audience in hysterics.
I thought you were trying to lose weight.
Lay off me, I'm starving.
It's a line that still echoes at family parties and gatherings, with siblings jokingly repeating it in Farley's voice. Because let's be honest, it's just too iconic to let go. For Gen Xers who spent hours loitering in food courts or shopping for the perfect pair of jeans, this sketch was more than a joke. It was a nostalgic time capsule. Even today, people find themselves quoting Farley's legendary line, even if no one around them gets the reference. Rip Chris Farley, your comedy lives on forever. Number 7, Sprockets. Mike Myers' Sprockets was a bizarre and brilliant parody of European art culture, perfectly encapsulating Gen X's fascination with the avant-garde. Myers played Dieter, the host of a German talk show, complete with a monotone voice, exaggerated pretentiousness, and minimalist black turtlenecks. Dieter's catchphrase, "Now is the time on Sprockets when we dance," became so iconic that some of us still quote it to this day.
Now's the time on Sprocket when we die!
Moments like Dieter exclaiming, "Look at my monkey," captured the sketch's absurdity and surreal charm.
Before I begin, would you like to touch my monkey?
I would be honored.
Touch him! Love him! Lieber meine Abschminky!
The sketch wasn't always great, but when it hit, it created some of the most memorable moments in SNL history. Weird and vaguely disturbing is a perfect way of describing Sprockets, and for many of us, a perfect way of describing our teenage years too. Number 6, The Continental. Christopher Walken's The Continental is a sketch that perfectly captures Gen X's love for irony and awkward humor.
To what serendipitous opportunity do I owe the pleasure of having such a wonderful woman on my doorstep?
In this recurring bit, Walken plays a suave but creepy bachelor who speaks directly to the camera as though it's his date. The sketch parodies old-fashioned sophistication with over-the-top charm that teeters on the edge of discomfort. Walken's exaggerated delivery, complete with his signature pauses, and his oblivious persistence make this sketch both hilarious and unsettling. Each attempt to win over his unseen guest ends in cringeworthy failure, from offering champagne to showcasing his rare art collection.
Forgive me if my hungry eyes feast on the banquet of your sumptuous décolletage.
For Gen X, this sketch was a comedic masterclass in awkwardness, highlighting their love for self-aware humor. Walken's unique presence elevated the Continental into an absurdly funny homage to a bygone era of romance that Gen X didn't take seriously, making it an instant classic. Number 5, Celebrity Jeopardy.
I hate my job. The answer was mustard.
Few sketches have left as big a cultural impact as Celebrity Jeopardy. Will Ferrell stars as the perpetually frustrated Alex Trebek, trying to maintain order as clueless celebrity contestants derail the game. With ridiculous answers, misread clues, and bizarre wagers, the sketch is a hilarious takedown of pop culture and celebrity vanity.
Oh, rough, just the way your mother likes it, Trebek.
Sean Connery, played by Daryl Hammond, consistently misbehaves, mispronouncing categories like "the pen is mightier" in ways that would leave Gen X audiences rolling with laughter.
I've got to ask you about the penis mightier.
The exaggerated incompetence of contestants like Burt Reynolds, Norm Macdonald, and others perfectly lampooned Hollywood egos. For Gen X, this sketch was a brilliant blend of nostalgia and satire, poking fun at both the game show format and the celebrities they grew up watching. With endlessly quotable lines like, "I'll take swords for $500.
I'll take swords for 400.
It's actually not swords.
Celebrity Jeopardy remains one of SNL's most beloved recurring sketches. Number 4, Grunge Song. Few things capture Gen X culture more perfectly than grunge, and this SNL parody nailed it. Featuring Adam Sandler and Chris Farley in flannel shirts, ripped jeans, and unkempt hair, the sketch hilariously mimics the angsty, raw energy of bands like Nirvana and Pearl Jam. The brilliance of the sketch lies in its mumbled lyrics and over-the-top melancholy delivery, poking fun at the genre's iconic apathy and rebellion. What made it even more impressive was the live musical aspect. Sandler actually played the final guitar solo, while Dana Carvey and Mike Myers jammed on bass and drums. Sure, the first few solos were clearly off stage, but the commitment to live music gave it an authentic touch that elevated the humor. Some fans have joked that if they'd changed the lyrics, Grunge Song could have been a chart-topping hit. Whether you loved grunge or just tolerated it, this sketch was a tongue-in-cheek homage to a musical movement that defined a generation. It perfectly encapsulates the messy, unapologetic individuality of the 90s and remains a nostalgic gem for anyone who came of age during that era. Number 3, Motivational Speaker. Living in a van down by the river has never sounded so hilariously tragic.
That you're not going to amount to jack squat!
Chris Farley's Matt Foley, the overzealous motivational speaker, is one of the most iconic SNL characters ever. Whether he's crashing through a coffee table or wildly gesturing while delivering his chaotic advice, Farley's energy was unmatched. As one fan put it, Chris Farley gave 110% every time he was in front of the camera. Dude is a wrecking ball. The brilliance of Matt Foley wasn't just in Farley's physical comedy, it was in his ability to break everyone around him. Cast members like David Spade and Christina Applegate famously struggled to keep a straight face every time Farley launched into his wild tirades. "I think Chris broke somebody in every version of this sketch," one viewer recalled, summing up the unstoppable force that was Farley.
Look at me go, I'm throwing eggs. I'm the Eggman. Goo, goo, gachoo.
It's hard to believe it's been 25 years since we lost him. Farley wasn't just a comedian, he was a legend who reminded us how vital laughter can be. Watching Matt Foley flail and shout his way through every motivational disaster still feels as fresh and funny today as it did in the 90s. Number 2, Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Eddie Murphy's Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood was a brilliant parody of the wholesome Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, reimagined through the lens of gritty urban life. With his green cardigan and mischievous smile, Murphy turned every visit into a hilarious lesson, like teaching kids the word of the day. "Bitch, go try it on your mother. Did she slap you? Well, you said it right." The sketch's charm lay in Murphy's ability to mix edge with warmth. Lines like, "Can you say scumbucket?"
Can you say scum bucket?
And his polite yet cutting, "Who is it?" When answering the door became instant classics. Fans still joke about wanting one of the green jackets he wore, a small detail that added to the character's unforgettable look. When Murphy returned to SNL a few years ago to revisit the sketch, it was a standout moment. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood perfectly captured the Gen X love for subversive humor, making it an enduring SNL gem. Number 1, Wayne's World. Party on, Wayne. Few sketches captured Gen X culture better than Wayne's World. Premiering in 1988, Mike Myers and Dana Carvey played Wayne and Garth, two rock-obsessed slackers hosting a public access TV show from Wayne's basement. With quotes like, "Schwing,"
Drag. Swing, swing,
and "Excuse me."
Excuse me? A baking powder?
The sketch became a cultural touchstone, spreading catchphrases far beyond the fans who actually watched it. The sketch wasn't just a parody, it celebrated Gen X's DIY ethos, disdain for corporate culture, and love for countercultural humor. Wayne's World also had an oddly big impact on the culture, with its irreverence and humor shaping comedy for years to come. Its success led to 2 hit films, cementing it as a defining moment in comedy history. For Gen X, Wayne and Garth were kindred spirits who captured the sarcasm and rebellion of their generation. Excellent.